Hi, welcome to Donkamet channel. I'd like to shout out a couple of channels, Ulfgard and Blade Basics. So for Ulfgard, got some Ibuki stuff going on that he might be interested in, as well as these little blade blanks here. And then there's the matter of serrations. As you can see, I now have a serration on this axe. Well, as you can imagine, I blew out a chunk of the apex there, doing some hard use. Pretty sure that will have happened on an unsupported and bouncy piece of branch wood, as opposed to chopping into a tree. Anyway, that happened, and I sharpened that out into a serration and kept going. And so then the day before yesterday, I went back out and I felled a couple of hemlock. One was maybe 6 inches diameter, and one was 10 or 11 inches diameter. So quite a large, and 10 or 11 inches diameter, and a big tall tree. I don't know, like 40 feet tall or something. So yeah, it was, really quite a demanding task for a relatively lightweight kind of axe. And nothing catastrophic happened then. This all seemed to work well, and I realized from the moment that I put that chip out, I could keep using it, like, two different edges. I just had to, I wouldn't want to chop hard onto this, because that would just probably continue to cause damage, on that torn out metal there. But yeah, sharpened out fine, and we could see whether this will serration will slice paper. We can see whether the edge will, first of all. Not quite, no. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little rough. And I have zero practice, well, next to no practice sharpening serrations. It's kind of an unusual sensation for me. But prior to this, I did actually already experiment with doing some serrations on this, which is another thing I've been working on and with, and making videos about this spud buster. What happened was that the day I went out with this, day before yesterday, I didn't have this on me. I was just carrying this and a cold steel Spetsnaz shovel, right? They call it, or the trench shovel. And as it transpires, that cold steel shovel is way better than this thing for spudding bark. So this is basically just like a hybrid wrecking bar that I'll have around. I'm sure I'll find uses for it. But yeah, for bark spudding, the cold steel trench shovel is way better. And it's also a very useful, versatile woods implement. So after the felling, yeah, no further edge damage. I mean, seeing this chip here, I understand. Okay, this is like I say, it's a lightweight axe. The eye is small. This it came with a very thin grind. It's a little thicker now, and the steel is very hard. So it has its limitations. I'm not mad. I just want another one of these now. Yeah, however, after doing all that hard work, which really, I like I say, it wasn't really the job for this axe, but we've had movement now. The this epoxy here, you can't really see through the camera so well, but the epoxy here, that weld has separated from the head, and I suppose that probably means that the same thing has happened on the inside. We no longer have mechanical adhesion from the epoxy. All we have is the friction fit, and the friction fit is compromised. Otherwise, the thing wouldn't be moving. I had foreseen this, and I had even in videos while I was setting this axe up, I was saying, "Oh, I think I'm gonna put some extra wedges in." I was also thinking to Well, I'll explain what I'm thinking to do now, which is basically everything I'd already thought to do. But I thought, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Let's see how this holds up as is. And that's cool because we get data, right? If I made it more robust to start out, I wouldn't know whether it would have worked well without being so robust. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean out all this epoxy all around here. And same thing up here. We can also see where this got mashed. So there's definitely been some movement. Once I've done that, then I will hammer on this end to see whether that causes the head to snug back up to where it was, or possibly even a little further. I could possibly even look to compress this wood up here now that it's moved up a bit. You know, maybe hammer on it or something, try and compress it, see whether how far I can get it snug down, basically. Maybe I won't want to move at all. That's also fine. I just want to see whether I can get it down any further. Then I'm going to drill in here, I think. You know, well, I'll probably cut this down a ways. Not too short, but I'll take some off there. I think I'm going to drill in to make more wedges in this orientation. Same kind of thing, hardwood wedges, but 1, 2 in here. And then possibly after that, I will also put in something else. I'll see how that looks, but what that'll do is bring all this out, right? So that it disinclines it to move up any further. Then, because also some damage appeared, like here, for example, you know, that's right behind the head, but I think that is because something got snagged or, you know, something. And so there were these little chips that were appearing here. Nothing major, but it made me think, well, it would probably be worth protecting this area here with a kind of a wrap, like the twine epoxy wrap that I do, like this one, which if it's finished up, it'll look quite nice. You know, this is basically, I sanded it and then I repainted it in epoxy. So now, again, if I refinish it, I can get quite a nice finish on it. Well, that just looks grotty now, but you can imagine because now that it looks shiny, but it's rough like a sandpaper. This also has excellent grip. If you do it like if this were left like this, it gives you a kind of a shiny look, and yet it's very grippy, like a grip tape or something. So I don't know if I would want to go this thick because I think we still want a bit of flexibility and, you know, finesse. But yeah, some kind of cordage wrap impregnated with epoxy, you know, maybe down as far as here, just to protect all that. Also, it can be snug up to here, and then I can take a chainsaw file and cut in a groove around here and do the same wrap around the top, snug. So it's snugged in on both sides by a wrap that is wrapped tight in epoxy. It's not going anywhere. Now this has to break or this has to break, right? This will be locked in, I would imagine. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. You know, I suppose I could also just see about taking it off and starting the whole thing again, now that I'm thinking about it. And that's my brainstorming kind of process on this. I could also take this out right now and use it light duty, probably as intended, and it'll probably be fine, come to think. I'm still mulling this through. But that's the progress with the Ibuki axe. I love it. It's a great thing. But, you know, it's kind of like a sports bike or whatever. It's fine. It's easy to blow it up, right? We have to learn about the limitations. But it cuts so well. And it's so lightweight and nicely balanced and everything that I think you could take on a far heavier duty axe using this with more sensibility, you know, and just swinging it quicker and not so hard, right? like the two different kinds of exercise, the names of which escape me, right? But you got the cardio, physio and cardio. Is that it? Yeah. So chisel knives. You can see I just got a little use out of this one. Very robust kind of notion. And this was an Ibuki blade blank, and that's where I got the notion to make this one. As you can see, cherry barrel handle, so work in progress. Annoying little rattle on this guard here, very frustrating. I did some kind of peening on there. Digress. These things. This one is kind of half apexed now. And yeah, this is my weak side. And this is my strong side. I'm trying to balance them out. The weak side tends to want to raise the bevel higher, and the strong side tends to want to push the apex over the other side, right? Because it's about the strength with which, and coordination in combination with which I can get this and maintain this angle. So yeah, I'll be able to pretty much even that out and true it out. And at the level of unevenness, which it is, I've seen plenty of Scandi knives from reputable makers with that level of bevel discrepancy. The apex is pretty much centered now and fairly straight and stuff. I mean, well, in as much as there's an apex, the apex area. I did these kind of half plunge grinds here because this is an issue. If you don't do like a plunge grind, then you have to start grinding into the tang here. And the tang starts tapering in two ways. It gets thinner here. And then when you come to put a bolster on, it's hard to get it to match and what have you. So like this is a kind of an example, a rough example of what we're going for, right? There is really there what I did was just leave a slight choil, come to think of it. Just left a little overhang there. But it's the same effect, it's kind of like you sharpen the whole length of the blade, right the way down to there. This way is just going to be, I think it's going to be stronger and easier to fit the bolster. Hopefully it's not a problem. But if it is, it's not my problem. All right. And yeah, so now I got to do some more grinding on this one. Oh, the tangs. Well, this one has a letter K on it. And this one has a letter E. My name is Erik, so I don't know, something about that. I kind of like them. And for the way the tang, I'm going to have to grind and taper the tang. They were going the wrong way. They were going to have to get removed. So I've done some carbide hammer work here to get these kind of shaped the way I want them. So now we can see that this kicks off ever so slightly to the left. I mean, it's practically straight here, but it's tapering in that way, right? So now I just grind in that way so that we have a very slight taper again, so that the bolster goes on easily. And hey, if you do that, it's basically as strong as if you didn't, and it just makes the knife a little bit lighter and puts the balance a little further forward. If you don't like the balance too far forward, you just use a heavier handle material. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.